Welcome back to your 2020 Construction Cloud training. Today we're going to talk about building your address book, your directory as we call it. It's a list of contacts. So from our 2020 menu, we jump into our directory where we see our current list of contacts. Now, to define this, our list of contacts can include customers, vendors, or anybody else. It will also list the companies and the individuals working within those companies. Let's start right away with just creating a brand new one. As I click Create, this record has been defaulted to an individual. I'm going to start with a company, so I'll make another choice. All right, give this company a name, and of course, enter their address information. Go ahead and enter their website, and move on to their phone information, etc. Okay, outside of this main information here, we also have several tabs at the bottom of the screen. The first one is for contacts and addresses, and that's one place where we can enter information related to a specific individual. Let's jump over now to sales and purchases. By default, this contact is marked as a customer. You can choose the option for vendor. As soon as I do, I'll actually get additional tabs at the top. I do that, and I have a tab here for 1099 compliance, because the system knows if it's a vendor, there's a chance you might send them a 1099, and so you need to log in some information for that. Moving along, another important tab is accounting. Within the accounting, we can set default accounts for this contact, whether they're a customer or a vendor. So your receivable account will show you your list of available accounts receivable accounts. There's only one currently in my data set. Payable accounts, same type of thing for that. Now expense account can be just about anything, but we're mostly looking for a cost of goods sold account. So let's just say, well, this may be a subcontractor, so I'll click on subcontractors, and that can be their default expense account. And yes, the default expense account can be changed when you're entering an invoice for this subcontractor. I'm going to save that. If I go back to my list of contacts, we'll see ABC Concrete right here in the list. Now, I can create an individual that may work at ABC Concrete. I'll click on Create. It defaults to individual. Let's give him a name. And what company is Tim related to? I'll just start typing ABC and they pop in on the list. When I do that, my tabs at the bottom of the screen change a little bit, because if I go to the Accounting tab, it tells me the accounting related settings are managed on the parent company. So Tim's default accounts are going to be the same as they are for ABC Concrete. Enter Tim's personal information, maybe his position, phone number, include an email address. That's going to be very important for sending things out automatically from the system to make sure they get into Tim's hands. Remember, before we save Tim's record, Tim can also be marked as a customer or a vendor, or both. Maybe Tim is exclusively a vendor. I don't want to see him showing up in my customer list. Save that one done. Let me go back to his company record. So I can do that by either going back to the contacts tree or click on the link for that company right in here. As I do that, it opens that contact screen, and you'll now see that Tim is listed in the Contacts and Addresses tab for ABC Concrete. If I edit ABC Concrete, I actually have a Create button down here if I wanted to create another individual record. So let's do that, and we'll see it's a simpler form. Let's enter this person's name and their personal information. When you're done with that, if you want to add another contact right away, click Save and New, and it'll open this screen again where you can add the next contact. If you're done adding contacts for now, for this company, you can hit Save and Close. You'll also see at the top of the screen other options. Maybe I want a separate invoice address, or shipping address, other address, private address, etc. I'll just Save and Close. All right, let me save the record for ABC Concrete. Before I leave this screen, I want to show you there's a button here, a Smart button, which is this row across the top. We call them Smart buttons. They either perform some action or bring you to a list of information related to the contact. The first Smart button shows the word active. If I hover over it, the word changes to Archive. If I click that button, what that will do will mark ABC Concrete as an archived contact. They will no longer appear in my standard contact list. There are ways to find archived contacts and then reactivate them. The other buttons along the top are more related to different reports in the system. The last button says More, which means there are at least 2 more Smart buttons that don't quite fit on the screen here, but there are ways to get to them. You'll see all of these items have 0 next to them, indicating that there's been little to no activity for this contact at this point. If I go back to my contact tree, you now see ABC Concrete, and you see Kim McKay and Tim McKay listed there, with ABC Concrete listed in front of their names. That's the way we can tell just by viewing this that Kim and Tim are related to ABC Concrete. Now these contacts are ready to be used in your system. Before you go, let me remind you that after logging into your 2020 system, 1. If in a multi-company environment, always be sure you are working within the correct company's data. 2. Not all users have access to the same features and options. And 3. Your typical workflow may vary from what has been presented. Let us know what else you'd like to see in these tutorials, and as always, enjoy the day.